Okay. Oh hey, a Necrolord mage.
We are vastly outnumbered mortals. The Forsworn have cut a swath through most of our forces. Vanquish their rear guard while I confront Devos. Go in service.
What's that? You say Devos has betrayed you? What a shock! I never would have known that. By the way, little funny little bit here. I actually just died before this queue popped up. I fell off a cliff in Ardenweald trying to do a world quest to get Anima. And then the queue popped up, so... The Spires of Ascension.
You were the paragon of loyalty, Devos. And yet all this time it was you who led the Forsworn.
Your blind adherence to the path would have doomed us all. You left me no choice but to oppose you. Forsworn, see that the mortals do not interfere. You cannot hide.
I'm anticipating that when I do this, well, let me start over. When I do the Kyrian Covenant on my, my paladin, that I'm more than likely going to end up seeing the story that led to us finding out that Devos was the leader. Because otherwise, this is just very out of the blue, like all of a sudden it's like, oh, Devos is actually a traitor. Because there was no indication of that when we quested in Bastion on this character. It seems like it's only revealed if you do the Kyrian Covenant.
Shall be spared.
Oh, hey, it's a boss.
Interrupt.
Floating. Oh. I'll probably be watching out for interrupts. Huh, interesting. Hold on. Let's wait until we're done with the boss. We'll probably do a similar thing to what it was like with Theater of Pain, where it's like, let's wait until there's like a down moment.
Suffer my wrath!
Run out.
Suffer my wrath!
Oh, I have to move away from those. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
You will never win!
Okay. Ooh, thank you for the food. That's why I love mages. Oh. Our tank left. But hey, we got one immediately afterwards. Not really sure what happened there, but whatever. So anyways, floating among the clouds. Just letting them know, first time here. And representing the pinnacle of Kyrian ideals, the Spires of Ascension is the Archon's seat of power. Unquestioned and unchallenged for countless eons, the ruler of Bastion has always embodied the virtues of duty and service. But, with drought and instability causing fractures in the belief system of the Ascended, the Archon's reign faces an unimaginable peril as one of her most trusted followers falls under the sway of the darkest of evils. Apparently that is the Night Fae monk ability. Fairy Stomp go boom. Or go brrrr. Yes. first boss we faced was
Listen to reason, Devos. The Kyrian must stand united.
Not so long as you command them. The Forsworn will forge a new path for Bastion.
Again, I don't think Devos is wrong. But I think... See, here's the thing. I'm not the only one who's been thinking, why wouldn't I join the Forsworn over the Kyrians? But the thing is, they've also been doing some pretty terrible things, like killing innocent people in the process. Now, I know that saying killing somebody while we are in the Shadowlands sounds kind of odd, but hear me out. I hope you are understanding my point. We saw a Forsworn doing some pretty terrible things when we were in Bastion. So it's more so like I'd be inclined to be more willing to side with them if they weren't doing pretty terrible things to other people, especially those who are not willing to join them, you know? But I've been saying it since they released that animation that Devos was right and the Archon was wrong. Because, well, her point was that if they had followed the path and forced Uther to forget all of his memories, they would never have known that the jailer's power was actually able to get out of the maw. They thought nothing related to the jailer could get out of the maw. But Uther showed her that it was possible, and she realized if we had followed the path and made him become Kyrian and forget everything, we would never have known any of this, which is why the path is flawed.
For eons, we have been told to purify ourselves, to let go of our memories, our identities, our loved ones, all in the name of service. But what do we serve? An impotent arbiter, an oppressive law. Our sacrifices were made for nothing.
Again, the things that Devos is saying, I'm not disagreeing with. And I know I am not alone in that. There are plenty of other players that, lately have been saying that they do feel inclined to actually want to side with not just Devos and the Forsworn, but with some of the others, because they're looking around going, it's no wonder that this is going on. Now, there is a cutscene I have yet to show on camera, because I don't know how to trigger it in the game. I may resort to just simply showing it on YouTube and then talking about it, but there's a cutscene involving Sylvanas and Anduin, where Sylvanas talks more so about her motivations as to why she's doing what she's doing, and she's basically dropped the whole, playing around with what she really means, where even the cutscene where Anduin at one point says, I'm so tired of your games, and she's like, alright, no more lies, no more secrets, I'm gonna be straight up front with you and honest with you. And you can tell she is. She's not being her playful, coy self. She's being, as honest with Anduin as she can be. To really get him to understand why she's doing this and why she believes that what she is doing is right. It's a very interesting cutscene. And I want to show it, I just don't know where to find it in the game, because apparently I think it's in the game, and I just don't know where or how. I'm trying to figure that out, but until then, I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. Oh my gosh, that hurts.
I don't have a target.
So anyways, now we've had a moment. Kintara. While Kyrian aspirants had to wait patiently during the anima drought for their overdue ascension, the Forsworn have been unafraid to grant their faithful wings. Kintara proved herself to the Dark Kyrian and learned to dominate the sky as soon as she ascended. While she stands, the Spires of Ascension will belong to Devos. This is Ventunax. Hold on.
My celerity is second to none.
Witness radiance. You cannot match my alacrity. Your sight is your downfall.
This was Ventunax. Ventunax is one of the deadliest Forsworn constructs originally designed to test the courage of Kyrian aspirants. The Praetorian's movements are so quick she can seem to disappear before her enemy's eyes.
I have many lucky doos. You like? Good fortune to our friends.
We sacrifice because we must. Mortal burdens would only impede our sacred duty.
No, it was a mortal who exposed the folly of your edicts.
I like how now we can see the Archon and Devos are actually fighting each other right now. Again, I feel like we have jumped a gap in the story where I feel like we actually see how it unfolds, that we find out that Devos is the one who's actually behind all this in the Kyrian campaign. Like, I feel like we've jumped the story. I will try and see if I can actually show on camera on one of my characters that joins the Kyrian. And this is going to be the case with some of the other dungeons as well. I was fortunate enough to find a quest that was like, hey, go into the Theater of Pain. And the reason for that was because of the side quest that I had shown you earlier. Like, it was like, okay, that's at least a reason. This is not, you know, but that wasn't a super crucial dungeon to the story. That was just kind of a cool little, oh, look at this. Not compared to this, where it's basically a culmination of what we saw started back in the Afterlives animation. I like that our Tauren monk brewmaster tank, his name is Drunk is Meta. Alright, this next boss actually drops a wrist piece that I would really like to drop because it would actually be a nice upgrade for me. Forced Confession. Oh gosh. Yikes, yikes, yikes. I was like, okay, I better stay away from my team because I don't want that to all of a sudden be something that really wipes the group. Again, the two of them are still fighting each other up there. And I find myself wondering how powerful is Devos in comparison to the Archon, because the idea is that, of course, that the Archon is the most powerful of the Kyrians. The Paragons are supposed to be like next in line, but what's the gap between the Archon and any of the Paragons? Like, how close in power are the rest of the Paragons to the Archon? This is Orpheron. Orpharon is the firepower in the Paragon of Loyalty's vanguard. The Dark Colossus has dominated the invasion into the city with their anima-fueled artillery, and now fiercely defends the font of power before the Archon's seat.
Be punished. You must be annihilated.
Is this a bad fight for melee? Oh gosh, move away from the others.
You must be annihilated.
Boy, am I glad I had an ability to give me a nice shield. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. That hurts too. That hurts too. I can't contribute. There we go.
I can still.
Sadly, I did not get my wrist upgrade. Oh well. So, you know what's next. Devos, the Paragon of Doubt. Devos was the very symbol of loyalty, until a soul with a troubling past arrived in Bastion. Her doubt overwhelmed her until she fell into open rebellion, aided by the darkest powers.
Uther's memories. What I saw shook me to the core. But you refused to see the truth. That the path is flawed. That we serve a lie. And so, I listened to the jailer's words. I learned of the great injustice you and the others thrust upon him, and upon us all. He seeks to free us from the prison we have built for ourselves. And for that, he has earned my loyalty.
And I mourn your betrayal.
Seizing the Spires of Ascension is just the first step, and the destruction of the Archon is now within her grasp. So this right away hints at something that some people are wondering, which is, what exactly happened to the jailer, and what was the injustice that Devos is saying was thrust upon him? Is there something about the jailer that we have been misled to believe, that we do not know? Alright, there they are in the background right now. You can see them. The Archon and Devos.
Accept your defeat, Archon.
Oh.
I serve a far greater power now. With your spear in hand, I will take control of the Spires and forge new paragons to lead the Kyrian.
The jailer has twisted your mind, Devos. You must be
The
stopped.
age of the Forsworn
No matter
is
the
at
cost.
hand.
I do like that this story was really started in those animations.
You down!
that it gave extra reason for people to actually watch those animations. Not just because it featured Uther and Arthas, but because it helps understand what's going on here.
I will strike you down!
Find shelter. Phase
The
change.
Archon Spear is mine to wield!
The Archon's Bastion? I don't even know what that is.
The winds howl in rage!
Mortals! Take
Oh, hey, look.
spear!
Death's Advance for the win. Oh, right. I heard about this. We have to, like, hurl this at the boss, don't we? Do I have it? No. Lingering doubt. Oh. This was something I heard people talking about, you know, like when this was like being tested out. Crap, 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 crap. We are dying. The stacks are just killing us. I think we're going to be wiping here. I'm trying to save my combat res for either the tank or the healer. Yeah, it's a wipe. So let's take a moment to actually check this. It remains locked until all the orbs of raw anima are returned to it. Ah, that's what's going on. We have to go get those orbs.
So ends the Archon's misguided reign.
That's what it is. They had an issue collecting some of the orbs.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles. Like you.
Okay, it looks like we had someone DC, so they wanted to kick. So okay, we had a High Mountain Tower Warrior join us pretty quickly, so there's one of the mounts that people have been getting. I haven't gotten any of the mounts in this expansion yet. Then again, I haven't really been spending that much time farming the mounts. Been working on other stuff. I'm gonna have to go back to the auction house and get more of these flasks. I'm running out. Alright,
The
here we go.
age of the Forsworn is at hand! This spear shall pierce your heart!
Find shelter.
The
Phase change.
Archon spear is mine to wield.
Apparently it's like the trident.
Mortals!
Grab the orb, and then you bring it over to where her spear is. Try and get my shield up. Boom!
Phase change.
This spear shall pierce your heart.
I do like Delos' voice actress. I think she's been doing a great job ever since the animation.
Phase
I
change.
control.
And I like that it sounds basically exactly like the same voice actress.
The winds howl in rage.
Death's advance.
Mortals!
The wind.
Take up my spear!
Right. Heave ho!
Phase change.
No! The path must be abandoned.
Davos. The jailer's schemes have torn a schism in the ranks of the Kyrian, one that must be healed. Long have we believed that our mortal lives are burdens to be shed in the name of service. And yet, the deeds of mortals are what won the day. You have my gratitude. Once the jailer lies defeated, there may be much for the Kyrian to discuss.
Okay. I like that. I wasn't sure about the Archon, because the impression I got about the Archon back in the animation was that she was very, like, no, you do not question me. You do not question our ways. You will abandon this course, as she told her back then. But the fact that she is now very much considering changing the ways of the Kyrian, that perhaps the getting rid of your mortal burdens and memories is actually not a bad, that perhaps, that I'm stumbling on this. The fact that she's now thinking, you know what, maybe we should keep what we cared about from our mortal lives. Maybe they aren't burdens. Maybe they could actually be benefits to us. Positives. Maybe we shouldn't forget about who we were. That's a good sign, the fact that the Archon herself is thinking, maybe we should discuss this and change our ways. Maybe we could actually be better as, in our duties, actually remembering who we were, knowing what happened to us. Now, for some, maybe they can have the choice if they want to forget, because maybe they had a very horrible, traumatic life full of horrible, traumatic memories, and they want to forget about them, and that's understandable. But if that's their choice, that's what matters. As opposed to being told they have to. That's what Uther was being told. He had to forget everything about who he was, all of his memories and everything. But instead, if he was offered that choice... Yeah. I'll tell you what, this definitely makes me feel better about wanting to get my intended paladin character that would do the Kyrian Covenant campaign stuff on camera. Gosh, I want those wings. Maybe not that large, but I don't know. Just, oh my gosh, look. What another thing that makes her wings stand out from the other Kyrians is that they have like golden armor tips on them. So she could almost use them either like as part of her either weapons or armor, either offensively or defensively. I love that. I do like her design, and I will say her weapon is actually pretty awesome looking. From here, it looks like it's just a sword, but you can see it's a full-on spear. I'll have to try out this throwing the spear at Devos later on my own, so... Anyways, that is the Spires of Ascension dungeon, where I'm hoping I'll be able to show you the gap that we have missed, where we find out that Devos was the orchestrator of all this, and why it reached that point. But I do like the dialogue that we heard there in that dungeon about the back and forth between Devos and the Archon, about how she just... I mean, Devos just straight up just laid out everything to the Archon there to try and let her know why she is doing this, why she is so convinced. But again, I find myself being very interested in some of that dialogue from earlier that she said about how... Let me see if it's still here. I listened to the jailer's words. I learned of the great injustice that you and the others thrust upon him and upon us all. He seeks to free us from the prison that we have built for ourselves, and for that he has earned my loyalty. That is such an interesting amount of dialogue. I really want to know what exactly the jailer told her. What exactly happened to the jailer? Are we going to find out later on this expansion that either that the jailer, what he intended was... I don't know. It almost feels like I'm trying to think of a comparison here. Is Jailer going to be another version of, say, Thanos in this expansion? Hear me out. Let you know where I'm going with this. You know how Thanos said that he could see what was going on Titan, how there was too many mouths, not enough to go around, they were losing resources, so he offered a solution that would have worked, but they called him insane and they refused. Now, they didn't, like imprison Thanos or anything, at least not that I know of. If they did, it'd make what's going on here a little bit more comparable. But the idea that what if the jailer told them about a solution that he thought would work better than what they have set up here in the Shadowlands, and they called him insane, a madman, and they imprisoned him in the maw. That would be an interesting issue, wouldn't it? But again, I would want to know, because then here's the thing. What if what he was proposing was actually pretty terrible? Because regardless of how you feel about Thanos' plan, even he admitted that it was wrong in Endgame. Spoilers for Endgame. I know I'm kind of going to spoilers here for Avengers movies, but it's to help illustrate my point about how the reason they called him insane and a madman was because he wanted to kill a lot of people. No favorites, just, no matter how innocent or guilty they were, regardless, just he wanted to just kill off a bunch of people because he believed it was the most efficient solution. What if the jailer's solution was either just as ruthless, but he believed to be efficient and worked, but they weren't willing to go that far? They weren't willing to do something that terrible. I'm very interested in seeing what direction Blizzard is going with this, because there's clearly hints here. They don't have Devos say something like this in this dungeon unless Blizzard is setting the pieces in place and teasing us for stuff later on involving the jailer, because, the jailer feels like such a new character that we have to kind of get an idea as to what's going on here, as to what the real story is, as to why this is all going on. Is what he told Devos also the same thing that he told Sylvanas? Did Sylvanas find out this information just like Devos did, and that's why they are more inclined to side with the jailer? I'm very interested what the real backstory is, and that dialogue from Devos really caught my interest there. So, I hope you have enjoyed staring at the Archon here. She does look rather lovely, doesn't she? Quite the headpiece there. I'd imagine she gets a little tired of wearing that all the time. But anyways, that is the Spires of Ascension dungeon. Hopefully I will be able to show you the story in between that leads to this during the Kyrian Covenant campaign, which I assume is going to have the finale of go into the dungeon and, deal with Devos and save the Archon, since this was a full-on assault where Devos was literally trying to kill the Archon. So, anyways, I will probably be showing you guys another of the dungeons. There's 2 more dungeons in Shadowlands that we have not done yet. Oh, what is this, by the way? Excuse me, Archon?
Your path has brought you to us.
Long have we believed that our mortal lives are burdens to be shed in the name of service. And yet the deeds of mortals are what won the day. Okay.
In service.
There's 2 other dungeons that we have not done yet. One is called the Sanguine Depths. This is a follow-up to what happened in Revendreth. Far below Castle Nathria lies the Sanguine Depths, a prison created to house Sire Nathrius' most intriguing dissidents. Prisoners here are kept for eons, drained of their anima for research and study. Basically, this is where Garrosh is. The Sinfall Resistance knows of a particular prisoner here that could help tip the balance of their fight, with Sire Nathrius to their favor, and have asked for assistance in extracting them. I wonder who it is. Is it Garrosh? No, of course not. Why would we free Garrosh to help us? It would be insane. No, I think it's someone else. Someone that which I have heard actually is part of the Kyrian Covenant campaign. So, it is funny how you only get to see certain characters only through a certain Covenant's campaign. But that's why there's more incentive from the developers to actually join other Covenant campaigns, to actually make other characters and go through those other Covenant campaigns so you can see some of that other cool extra content. So it looks like we'll also be seeing General Call, but we won't be killing her because she's a boss in the raid. So I believe... No one else here seems familiar. The other dungeon, however, is the one that I am actually looking forward to the most, and I believe it's part tied to the Night Fae one. It's the one we've heard about since BFA. The Other Side. With a very certain specific Loa of Graves. Buon Samdi has kept a secret place in the Shadowlands he refers to as the Other Side. When the dead started funneling into the maw, Buon Samdi had hid several souls in his little domain, keeping his troll followers safe. But this broke an ordeal with Muzala. And now the ancient Loa has come to harvest those souls and destroy their caretaker. Buon Samdi will need help collecting on some of his other dealings if he is to survive this onslaught and protect the souls within. So, obviously I'm spoiling a couple of big notable bosses here like Hakar and Muzala, those are very notable names in the lore. Muzala is... this may be the first time we're seeing him on camera, but he has been teased and referenced numerous times going back in the day. And of course, Hakar, we know from going back to Vanilla, from the good old days of Zul'Gurub, right? So I think next we'll be going to the Other Side. Stay tuned.